Hello guys, welcome to Litfears, and I'm Hasini Disanaika. If you don't know my name, after a long time we are going to start again our English lessons with Litfears. I'm really sorry about the previous days guys, because I had some exams too. Because of that I couldn't make any videos, but don't worry, I have listed out all of your requests and I'm going to do one by one. There were some requests about I know why the cage birds sing, and the themes and techniques of our last lesson, bringing Tony home, and also vendor of sweets. Like that, there were so many. Since I had many requests about I know why the cage birds sing, today I'm going to do that. Today we are going to analyze the poem, talk about themes and techniques of the poem. Don't worry other guys, because after that we are going to continue our lessons. In upcoming weeks you can watch my videos about themes and techniques of bringing Tony home and the other videos as well. Okay, without wasting any time, let's move on to our lesson. I Know Why the Cage Birds Sing by Maya Angelou. Okay children, let's start with a brief reading of the poem. After that we are going to move on to the themes and techniques of the poem. I know why the cage bird sings. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his buzz of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. And the free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a cage bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. What a beautiful yet haunting poem, isn't it? Now we are going to break it down and explore its meaning, themes and techniques. Before that, we are going to know about the author of this poem. Let's make a moment to learn about this incredible poet behind it, Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou was an American poet, memoirist, and civic rights activist. She was born on April 4, 1928, and had a remarkable career that spanned over 5 decades. Angelou is best known for her series of 7 autobiographies which focus on her childhood and early adult experiences. Her first autobiography, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings, published in 1969, brought her international recognition and acclaim. Angelou's work often explores themes such as identity, family, racism, and resilience. She received numerous awards and honors throughout her life, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2010. Maya Angelou passed away on May 28, 2014, but her legacy lives on through her timeless works that continue to inspire and uplift people around the world. She was a remarkable poet, and today we are going to learn about her poem I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. Okay, Now let's analyze each stanza of this poem, and we look important lines and talk about their techniques and their meanings. Before starting the poem, I need to say this is a metaphorical and symbolic poem, and this free bird and cage bird, both birds symbolize the white people and the black people, and white people are the free birds and the black people are the cage birds. So before I'm analyzing the poem, I told you that because it's easier for you to understand how the poet here symbolized these two birds to describe how these black Americans are being caged in their land. Okay, let's move on to the first stanza. Here in the first stanza, the writer is talking about the free bird. Free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current end, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. Here, free bird is enjoying his freedom to the fullest, to the current ends. To the end he enjoys his freedom and dip his wings in the orange sun rays. Here the writer also has used a powerful imagination. The orange sun rays and how this free bird leaps on this wind and clouds and this between the orange sun rays like that, and he dares to claim the sky. This free bird dares to claim the sky. He owns this sky. Okay, let's move on to the second one. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage. And in the second stanza, the writer is talking about the black people. The black people are living in a narrow cage. Even they are living in the same land as white people, they have some boundaries. They can't go out, they can't claim the sky as they want. So the writer Maya Angelou is telling that is metaphorically she is comparing these black people to birds that's living in a narrow cage, can seldom see through his bars of rage. Okay, now these black people are see through these bars. Okay, these boundaries, they can't see the world as they like, as white people see. Okay, they can't see the world like that. They have to see the world, they have to enjoy their lives within those boundaries, living within those boundaries. So they can seldom see through his bars. Okay, his wings are clipped and his feet are tied. When someone's feet are tied or his wings are clipped, when their wings are clipped, they can't fly. Like the free bird, they can't fly in the orange sun rays or in the till the end. And his feet are tied. When someone's feet are tied, they can't go as far as they want. They can't go because of these boundaries. They can't go as far as they want. Okay, so he opens his throat to sing. Okay, only thing he can do is to open his mouth, open his throat. He can't go anywhere he likes. He can't fly. Even he's a bird as that free bird, but he can't fly because his wings are clipped and his feet are tied. Only thing he can do is open his mouth. Only thing black people can do is open their mouth. They can talk, they can fight again with their voice. Okay, and he opens, this cage bird opened his throat to sing. Let's move on to the third stanza. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill. Even though he can open his mouth, even though this cage bird can open his voice, raise his voice and sing against what happens to him, sing and fight against what has happened to him, but he sings with a fearful trill. He can't sing as a free bird. He can't raise his voice as a free bird. He has a fear. He has a fear of what will happen to the cage bird. He has a fear that what will happen to me if I raise my voice. Of things unknown but longed for still. He don't know what happened. He doesn't know what will happen. Yeah, those things are unknown but longed for still. And his tune is heard on the distant hill. His tune, his voice can be heard. The voice can be heard. This cage bird sings of freedom. He is requesting of his freedom. These black people are requesting their freedom. Okay, the voice can be heard to other people, but the only thing is they don't care. Let's move on to the fourth stanza. The free bird thinks of another breeze. Now we know how the cage bird thinks and how the cage bird feels about what happens to him, how the cage bird can't fly, how the cage bird can't walk, walk as far as he wants. Only thing he can do is to raise his voice, and even if his voice is also is a fearful trill, he is feared to raise his voice, but free bird is in another breeze. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sign trees. Everything, the free bird owns everything. The trade winds soft through the sign trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn. Everything, sign trees here, sign trees. Trees are sign here. They are not happy. Okay, trees are not happy, but the free bird thinks that he owns them. He doesn't care about those things. And the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn. Okay, he thinks that those worms are waiting for him to eat them. Okay, the free bird thinks he owns everything. He can do anything he wants. Okay, he doesn't care about the sign trees or fat worms, how they feel, how they want freedom. Like that, free bird doesn't think about anything. He just enjoying himself, and he names the sky his own. And he names the sky his own. As I said earlier, he thinks this sky is only his. He doesn't like to share it with anyone else. He wants everyone to suffer, but only him to be happy and be free. Okay, fifth stanza. But a cage bird stands on a grave of dreams. Okay, even the free bird is flying along the sky, and free bird owns the sky. Where the cage bird is in? Cage bird is in a grave of dreams. Here the writer has used a metaphor, grave of dreams. His dreams, even he can't go out. He only place he can see is the cage and the things he can see through the bars of rage. Okay, and even in his dreams he doesn't see the happiness. He doesn't see the freedom. He sees the grave of dreams. The dreams are also negative. His shadow shouts. Even his shadow is shouting. Shadow is shouting on a nightmare scream. Here the personification has been used. Shadow shouts. Shadows can't shout. Shadows can't speak. Even this shadow, this cage bird shadow is shouting. You know, when a shadow is shouting, no one can hear. Okay? That means this cage bird, these black people are suffering silently. Okay? On a nightmare scream. Okay? He has nightmares. Nightmares means bad dreams. He has bad dreams. In those bad dreams, even his shadow is screaming. These dreams are that bad. Okay? His wings are clipped and his feet are tied. Here we can see the repetition is here. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied. So he opens his throat to sing. Okay? These two lines are repeatedly saying because the writer wants to say all the other things has been prohibited to them, and the only thing they can do is raise their voice, speak up. Okay? In the 6th stanza, the cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. Here, this full stanza has been repeated. This full stanza has been repeated because the writer wants to say the cage bird's voice is, even he raises his voice, it's fearful and about the things unknown. The cage bird doesn't know what will happen. He raised his voice. He fights back. Okay? His tune is heard on a distant hill, even though he sings with a fearful trill. His voice is heard about how this cage bird sings of his freedom. Okay, this is the poem and this is the explanation of the poem. I think you understood clearly. Okay, let's move on to the techniques of this poem. First and foremost important technique is using symbols. There are two major and main symbols has been used in this poem. The first one is free bird. Free bird symbolize the white American people, white people, and how they are treated in the society. And second one is cage bird. Cage bird represents the black people in the American society and how they are being treated comparing to the free bird or these white American people. The second technique I am going to talk about is using metaphors. As I said earlier in the beginning of this lesson, this is a metaphorical poem. This poem has been metaphorically talking about the white people and how the black people are differently treated in the society. Here, the metaphors can be seen. The bars of rage. Rage is anger. Bars of rage means in this cage, the cage that the bird is in, the bars are made with rage. The bars are made with anger of them. Anger of these cage people. Bars of rage. They see the outside through these bars of rage, bars of anger. And the next one is grave of dreams. Here the grave, even this cage bird's dreams, they are like a grave. They are negative and bad dreams. To indicate that, the writer has used this metaphor as grave of dreams. Dreams are like graves. Okay. The next technique is personification. Personification is comparing something to a person. First of all, these birds are not people, but the birds have been personified by the writer. And sighing trees. Trees can't be sad, trees can't be sigh, but the writer here used sighing trees. Sighing trees is a personification. Trees are personified. Trees are personified as human and they are being sad. And next one is shadow shouts. Shadow shouts. This bird's shadow is shouting. Cage bird's shadow is shouting. Nightmare screaming. Nightmare screaming. Those things are being personified. And also about the worms. Worms are waiting. Worms are waiting for the free birds to come and get them. Worms are waiting. All those things have been personified in this poem. And the next one is exaggeration. Exaggeration means the writer in some point of this poem has exaggerated, has overly said things, overly said about things like till the current ends. The bird is going till the current ends. The bird is, we know free birds can go anywhere he likes, but the sky has no ends. Sky has no ends, but the writer wants to exaggerate. The writer wants to tell the free bird is going anywhere till the end of this sky, till the current ends, and they claim the sky. No one can claim the sky. No one can owns the sky. But the writer in two places has been used the free bird claim the sky and he names the sky his own. We can here see how the writer has exaggerate these things. And next one is using imagery. We can see two imageries here. First one is visual imagery. Second one is auditory imagery. For visual imagery, as I said earlier, through the whole poem we can see visual imagery. We can see how the free bird is treated, how the free bird is being enjoying his life, and how the cage bird is suffering. There are some strong visual imageries here, like dips his wings in the orange sun rays. When we hear orange sun rays and dip his wings in orange sun rays, we can imagine that. And bird that stalks down his narrow cage. We can imagine a bird is in a narrow cage. And the next one, his wings are clipped and his feet are tied. We can imagine that. And the trade winds soft through the sighing trees. We can see sighing trees and trade winds soft through those trees like that. We can have visual imagery of those things. And the other one is the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn. Okay, the fat worms are waiting to the free birds to come. Okay, those things we can imagine, and there are so many visual imageries. You can pick any line to explain visual imagery, but those things I said, those are the strongest visual imageries in this poem. Auditory imagery. His tune is heard on the distant hill. His tune is heard. When we hear his tune is heard on the distance hills. Even this cage bird in a cage, even he's in a cage, the tune of his, voice of his can be heard from the distance hill. That is auditory imagery. And we can also see repetition clearly. Free bird and cage bird, those words has been repeated, and there's a big repetition. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown, but long for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. This whole line, his whole stanza and the 2 lines before that, the whole thing has been repeated. The writer wants to exaggerate, the writer wants to repeatedly say how this cage bird is suffered. Okay. And also this poem is a free verse. That means this poem has no rhyme scheme. Those are the techniques of this poem, and I think you understood them well. And now we are going to move on to the themes of this poem. As you all know, all the poems that we have to learn for our O-level examination, those poems has been categorized according to some themes, 5 themes, and we are giving the questions accordingly. So this poem has discussed under the theme society. This poem is talking under the theme of society. We are talking about an issue of the society. Okay, the first theme is deprivation of freedom. How these black people have the lack of freedom in where they live. In the same country that they live with white people, how they have deprivation of freedom and others don't. And the next theme can be taken as freedom versus oppression. Okay, freedom. When we talk about freedom, we can talk about the free bird or the white people, and oppression. When we talk about oppression, we can talk about how the cage bird is being oppressed by this society, by this white American and the cage and everything. Also, for this oppression, we can take sign trees and also the worms, like that, how some people of the society, some part of people of the society being free and the other part of the society being oppressed. And the next theme is hope and resilience, and the black people and Maya Angelou has a hope. She always tells that our feet are tied and our wings are clipped, but we have a voice. We can raise our voice and we can be free with fighting against this. Okay, about the hope of being free. And the tune is heard, the cage bird's tune is heard from the distance hill. Like that, we can talk about the hope and resilience of this cage bird or of these black people. The last theme that I am going to discuss today is injustice and inequality. Inequality and injustice, you know, some people of the society are being treated as how they want and how they are being free in the society, like a free bird. They are flying all over the sky and they name the sky of their own, but for the others, that is the opposite, complete opposite of the free birds. So we can talk about the inequality, how the free bird and cage bird is treated in this society. So getting those metaphorical and symbols, metaphorical language and symbols of the poem, you have to talk about how the white people and black people in the society are treated differently. Don't just talk about the cage bird and the free bird. Explain how the writer has used these symbols to explain about these white people and black people in the society. Okay, those are the themes of this poem. Okay guys, I hope you understood the lesson well. So if you have any questions regarding this lesson or any lessons I've done, you can comment below and ask me, and I'm definitely going to answer them. And you can also request any videos regarding literature. You can mention them in the comment section. Also, it doesn't matter if it is for O levels, A levels, HNDs or your degree, I'm going to do the video. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it, because you would never miss my videos again. And don't forget to hit the like button also and share with your friends, because they will learn too. And till we meet again, goodbye children, see you from the next video.